Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. I am back from a couple of weeks in the UK, and let's hope that I remember what I'm doing this morning. I hope you guys have all had a great couple of weeks. I know Audrey filled in for me as host, and I've been getting some amazing feedback. So just want to say thank you to Audrey for stepping in as host for the last couple of weeks for me. And I am also really just excited to be back. So I can't wait to see all of your thoughts in the comments. And just to get started, we've got a lot to talk about because there's a lot of things that have happened while I have been away. So let's get started. What are we talking about? So our episode this week is with One Stop Connection. So they're a company out of Sydney, Australia, and they are completely changing the game of port logistics efficiency. So they are connecting all of the different stakeholders in one amazing platform, and it's slowly coming over to North America. So if you want to know more about port logistics, go ahead and listen to this episode. You can find it wherever you subscribe to the Let's Talk Supply Chain podcast, so Apple, Spotify. You can also find it on the letstalksupplychain.com website under the Let's Talk Supply Chain podcast as well. What else are we talking about? What else happened while I was away? Oh, that's right. We released a new show with Eric Johnson called Log Tech Live. That one happened on August 6th, and that's going to happen the first Friday of every single month. And Eric is going to host that show. We had some amazing, amazing feedback on this one as well. So hopefully you caught this. If not, you can go back on our LinkedIn page and go and watch it. And we've got a new one coming at you the first Friday in September as well. What else is happening? We've got some events happening right now too. So on September 23rd, I am going to be going live with the team at Easy Mile, and we're going to be talking about real automation for real supply chains. And I can't wait. This one's going to be fun. They've got some really, really cool stuff happening in the automation sector for supply chain. What else is happening? We've got Manifest coming up. We've also got an event with E2 Open as well. That one is coming up on August 24th. So if you haven't registered, go to our page and register for that right now as well. And then we've added some more merch to our shop page. So go to letstalksupplychain.com/shop and you can check out all of our amazing merch, including the mug that we give out to the person that engages with us the most on social media. So whether that's during this show or on our social posts, we are giving away a lot of merch as well. So that is it for what's happening over at Let's Talk Supply Chain this week. I am super excited to be back here with you. I'm also going to go and make sure that I can see everyone on my personal LinkedIn page as well. And we've got quite a few people that are joining with us over there as well. Want to say good morning to a couple of people before I bring up my guest for today, and he is, I can't wait for you guys to meet him. He is one extra special guest. So we've got Paul, we've got Marina, good morning. We've got Kasif as well, good morning. Peter, you're going to keep us on schedule today. I know that you are. Renee, welcome to the show. Tobias, we've also got Rhonda joining us as well. And Tobias says he's joining us from Germany as well. So welcome, everybody. It is now time to bring up our guests. Vito, are you ready? Good morning.
Morning, Sarah. How are you?
Doing Thank you. I am doing really, really well. Listen, you are one of my favorite people, and I am super excited to introduce you to the Let's Talk Supply Chain community, because you and I have been talking about all sorts of stuff and just connecting for the last couple of years. And you have done some amazing stuff in the industry. So super excited to introduce you. So for anybody that doesn't know you, Vito, why don't you do a bit of an introduction?
Hey, thanks a lot, Sarah. And I have to compliment you. You're extremely entrepreneurial and you're really a go-getter. So it's fun talking to you. think outside the box, that old cliche. So for
Thank
those
you.
that don't know me, I'm Vito Cerone. Recently retired. I'm into my 6 month of retirement from Air Canada Cargo. I was VP for Sales and Commercial Strategy at Air Canada Cargo. I've been in the industry for 31 years and 20 in the supply chain and logistics. So yeah, I'm just enjoying what I call my Vito time.
Awesome. I love that veto time. And you played some golf yesterday. Tell everybody how you did.
You know, like I mentioned, best ball. Who can best ball? It was a great game. Thanks to my buddies.
Peter says he's really, really excited to see you with
Hi,
me up
Peter.
on stage here.
Hi, Peter. It's been a while.
So Peter always keeps us on track, and he will be giving us a timer near the end to be like, we've got 5 minutes left, we've got 2 minutes left. So he always keeps us on track as well. We've got Ricardo. Hello, good morning. And so what are we talking about? The next thing we're going to talk about is our question of the week. So we actually did a poll last week, and we asked you, which job would you take? So the three choices were better pay, better experience, or try something new. And 41% of you said better experience over better pay. I don't know if that's, surprising to me. Was it surprising to you, Vito? What do you think about this poll?
You know what? It's not really surprising, and especially what we've been living through the last year and a half. I think people are looking for change, and it's the environment that we've all been working through. So I don't. It doesn't necessarily surprise me that people want different experience. And even when pre-COVID, I think it was important for people to just make sure that they became well known and that they showed their qualities and worked with what they were best at, similar to you, what you go after. So I think it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think that a lot of people are looking for better experiences. And as I look through some of the comments that we got, and we got some really, really amazing comments. I mean, John says trying something new followed by better experiences, and then trailing far behind is better pay. So I think people are looking for, that balance, right? It's no longer about necessarily the money. It's about the experience and what they're doing on a day-to-day basis and who they're working with and what that means for not only their mental health, but also their well-being. I mean, you have led a lot of successful teams throughout your career. You've trained a lot of people. So I'm sure that you've sort of seen a transition, right? From focusing on the money to now focusing on the experience.
You know what? I'm a true believer in that. I read a lot or follow up for those that don't know him, Simon Sinek, and he's very and his philosophy is really it's all about keep your people happy and they'll keep your customers happy. And I think it's that work life experience that that more and more corporations are looking at. And certain surveys that I've seen recently, like people wanting to work 4 days instead of the 5 days. And so, and I'll take an example, my example. I believed in one thing is I've always believed in, make sure you're healthy, make sure you take care of your family, number two, and then work comes third. And I think if you balance those correctly, you're going to have a perfect working experience.
Absolutely. And I think Rhonda seconds that. She says time is priceless. So how we feel about our position in the workplace in terms of being valued, supported, and contributing to society is really about what it's all about. And Kasif actually says that he agrees with that as well. Over on my personal page, I just want to go and say hi to Bally, and we've also got Christina over on my personal page as well. Welcome. I also want to let everybody know that while I was on vacation, vacation. I mean, it was a work/vacation. I was able to go to the Harry Potter store at King's Cross. And if you know me, I really like Harry Potter. So I did get a new mug for everybody that is wondering. This is the one and only time I will use it because I will go back to my Let's Talk Supply Chain mug. But I just wanted to show you guys the mug. And it's huge, right? Like it can carry so much coffee. So this is going to take me through the day, which I'm really, really happy about. All right. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is my thoughts and coffee post from Sunday. And what we were talking about is when you focus on the good gets better. Now, we talk a lot on this show about mental health. We talk a lot about, our mindset and going into the week or going into the day. And what you focus on really does make or break what you're doing during that day. So I'll give you an example. When I was over in the UK, I don't know if most of you know this, but I did have to go to the UK to bury my grandparents. And on the way to actually going to the day, so going to the cemetery, and I had to lead I started with, or I was the first one to start with what I wanted to say about my grandparents during the day. And on the way there, I was getting extremely, extremely emotional. But what I did was I brought myself back and I grounded myself through talking about what I was grateful for. And just remembering them and remembering what they meant to my life and remembering what it was that I was grateful for in my life. I was with my cousins on that day. I was with my family. I was with my friends. And I was really grateful for that. I was grateful to be able to be in the UK. And it really calmed me. It really was able to ground me and help me get through that day. And so this post on Sunday was really, really important for me because of everything that I've kind of gone through over the last couple of weeks. But Vito, when you saw this one, what did you think?
You know what? When I saw it and I commented, it was a great, it's a great quote because I'm a true believer. You know what? I focus on positivity. I don't focus on negativity. And because as soon as you focus on negativity, it's easy for your mind to go towards there and it's
Yes.
hard to bring it back. So, you know what? I truly believe in it. I think you're right on.
Yeah, yeah. And, it wasn't something that I had necessarily practiced in the moment before. Like I have a gratitude journal and I go and I write down what I'm grateful for the day. But in the moment, I've never really used that tool. And on that day, utilizing gratitude to be able to ground myself and to be able to you know, do what I needed to do for that day, right? Regardless of the emotions that I was feeling. And even if I did feel emotions, the gratitude really just grounded me. And so I wanted to share that story because the last couple of weeks has been a roller coaster of emotion because, like I said, it was, I was over there for a variety of different reasons. But that one moment really stood out for me. And, I think that it's the tools that we have in our tool belt that can really help us with those moments. And sometimes we think, maybe we don't have time to do that in the moment, but it only takes just a couple of seconds to focus on the gratitude to really help ground you to be able to take on those moments.
I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. You know what? Like when we wake up in the morning, on a cloudy day, just pinch yourself and say, hey, I'm alive. I've got a
Yep.
great family, things like that. We take those little things for granted.
Hmm.
And what we also take for granted is we need our own time, our own, and this is what I've learned the last few months, what I call the Vito time. I've learned a lot about myself and how to control my emotions.
Yes.
It's important. It's so important. And one example I like to give also on that is I started bike riding again. I'm doing a fundraiser for the Riding to Fight Kids Cancer. And I remember one of my first practice runs, and I went with one of my buddies who's a great rider. And it was our first 50, it was my first 50-kilometer practice run. And we hit the 25 kilometers. And he actually told me, he says, Vito, wow, we've just completed 25 kilometers. We only have another 25 left. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow. Yeah, I didn't think of it as, oh, shaboom, another 25. It was, hey, we completed 25. It was easy, and it was great. And that's where the positive mindset, works in. And that's got to be part of our life. I think it's so important.
Absolutely. So Peter is saying that he loves the models behind you. Do you want to talk a little bit about that really quickly about what you've got behind you? Because they're all airplanes, are they not?
Yes, they are. I have a collection of, after 31 years, I've got 54 airplanes here. So It's my home office, and I keep them close to my heart. I'm always part of the industry, and I only was supposed to be part of this industry for 2 months.
Two
And
months.
2 months, I was out in 2 months, but 31 years later, I retired from the industry.
Well, that's what happens in supply chain, doesn't it?
I know.
Your like intention is to only be there for a little while and then boom, you end up
It-
being there for 20, 30, sometimes even 40 years, which is crazy, crazy.
yeah.
So I just want to
Hotel California can always check out, but you may never leave.
I love it. I love it. I also want to say hello to Ebenezer. He says that you were right on something that you said before. And then we've got Larry also on my personal LinkedIn page as well. All right, now it's time to get into the supply chain topics. And I'm super excited that Vito is here because we are talking about a few things that are right up his alley, air freight and drones. But first, we are going to talk about sustainable packaging. And one of the reasons why we're going to do that, and I don't know if you've seen a lot of the conversations that I've had with Sarah Scudder or if you follow Sarah Scudder, but she's constantly talking about packaging and empowering your employees to use the right packaging so we don't have a lot of waste. And her and I, she actually has an episode coming up with me in the next couple of weeks, really diving deep into this. But what I thought was really interesting with this article is that Flipkart in India is actually reducing the amount of single-use plastic that they are using in India. And they're doing that by changing to bubble wrap, which I thought was, I don't know about the bubble wrap. I have to talk to Sarah about that. But they're also using pouches as well, which I thought was interesting. A couple of really cool things to note from this particular article is that e-commerce growth is 4 times the rate of retail in India right now, and it's only going up. And they're talking about how they cut 50% of single-use plastic just by replacing plastic in filler and security bags. And then they were also able to work with their seller fulfillment to reduce their single waste plastic by 27%. I mean, guys, these are huge, huge, huge numbers. One of the ways that you can really jumpstart your sustainability strategy is through looking at your packaging. It's one of the easiest places to start. And the other thing that they said is that Walmart, which is the parent company to Flipkart, they are going zero waste by 2025, which is coming up really quickly. I mean, we're almost at the end of 2021. That's only 3 more years for them to be able to do that. So Vito, what did you think of this particular article?
You know what? I think that's where we're all headed for. And, not only industry and e-commerce is one of the fastest growing vertical. So it does not surprise me because we need to all play a role. And, many of times when I look at the supply chain as a whole, we kind of work in silos.
Yeah.
But it's collectively where we're going to win with this. So it doesn't surprise me. And I think there's going to be more and more pressure moving forward. No different than, when we used to go to the grocery stores with the plastic bags. They're non-existent anymore,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is, it's really, and I hope the industry follows through sooner than later because it's the right thing to do for the kids of the future.
Absolutely. Well, another interesting stat on this one is that 71% of people want single use banned. So that's 71% of your consumers want to see single use plastic actually banned. And so if that's the case with 71% of people or consumers or your customers, that is a huge, huge, huge number. And that's going to drive what organizations are going to take a look at. One of the biggest things around packaging is that we are sending out really small products in like really big boxes and bags. And so what's happening there is that we're actually not empowering our teams in the warehouse and in the distribution to actually pick the right packaging for that particular product. And that really needs to change because we're seeing way too much of that. And if, like I said, if you follow Sarah Scudder, you're going to see how many times this actually happens. I mean, Vito, you've probably gotten an Amazon package, right? Where you're just like, why do I have this big box?
You know what? And a funny story to it. And I won't give you names or whatever, but just most recently, from an industry perspective, there was a system, meltdown, so they needed a part, and they actually, chartered an aircraft, and that's okay because system down, you need. But if you think of it from a sustainability perspective, a 10-kilo package and you charter an aircraft in the future, you're going to see that's going to be a big faux pas.
Oh,
And
yeah.
more and more corporations are starting to realize, and there's more and more pressure on them. So I think, what, but at the same time, we need to develop the right products because we still need to move our goods.
Yeah.
So we need to develop the right product.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the next one that we're going to be talking about is literally right up your alley because FreightWaves came out with this article called Stranger Things Air Cargo Becomes Value Play Over Ocean Freight. I mean, we all know that ocean freight is just costing way too much right now, and it takes way too long to get products here. So what they're talking about in this particular article is that people or companies, organizations, supply chain teams, they're actually looking at air freight versus ocean freight because of the costs and because of the time frame. And also because of the influx of e-commerce, they're also looking to make sure that they have inventory in stock. And the only way that they feel that they can do that is through air freight. So Vito, this is your thing. What did you think when you saw this particular article? I mean, are we surprised? What is going on?
No, you know what? I'm not surprised. And there's two things to look at, two aspects to look at. Number one is currently what's happening right now, and we know with Asia right now, especially with China, COVID hitting again, numbers going up again. There's a backlog in the port, so you're going to see a strong demand for air freight. $20,000 for a unit on ocean, and so you're going to see air rates going up, and there's going to be a strong demand. Then there's the long-term aspect of it, and you mentioned like the e-commerce. You're going to have more and more retailers using air because you don't want to keep inventory anymore, right? And it's similar to e-commerce. We want things now. So you need to, there's a number of retailers that have changed the concept and really pushing a lot through air. And Zara is a perfect example of how they're doing it. And others are following suit in Canada. I think companies like the Dynamites are doing something similar. So I think you're going to see more of it. So it doesn't surprise me. And it's going to be something that's going to continue for the long term.
But let me ask you about a little bit about capacity, right? Because we've seen such a decline in passenger service, right? I mean, things are starting to pick up now, but is there still the capacity that there once was? Because, like, there's not enough, or as far as I know, there's not a lot of airplanes flying right now.
Yeah, and so I think one thing that I'm really grateful that we as a team did at Air when I was at Air Canada Cargo in 2020 was I think we were one of the first carriers, if not the first carriers, to launch the P freighters, the passenger freighters, and we identified that there was a shortfall in capacity, so we launched. Everyone followed suit, and I think what's going to happen slowly as the passenger creeps up, the P freighters are going to slowly move out of the way, but you still have significant wide body aircrafts that are going to be out there, and I think with the focus from the passenger side of the business on cargo, I think you're going to see the right capacity put in place. I think cargo has a seat at the table, at the decision-making table. So you're going to see it moving forward. But you know what? The freighters, look, if you try converting freighters, there's no space to be had. So we're going to have a lot of freighters in the future.
Well, so that was kind of my question. What do you see that air freight is going to be like in the future? I mean, everybody's kind of, talking about ocean freight right now and the pricing as it is at the moment. Are we going to see the levels of retail and e-commerce decline? And so in 2022, are the ocean freight rates going to kind of, come back down and we're going to stabilize a little bit? But where's air freight on that? Like you said, we've kind of moved from just in time to just in case. So there might be a few more buffers when it comes to inventory, right? Because people want to have the inventory available for when people purchase. But then I'm also hearing, like you said, that people don't want to pay for the inventory and having it just sit there. So what is the future? Like, what are we looking at in 2022? Are we still going to see these volumes of air freight?
I think what you're going to see is till the end of 2022, you're going to see the demand for air freight being there because of the lack of capacity. Okay, and
Yeah.
also the ocean. Look, there's a lot of unbalance as far as the ocean freighters and their containers are concerned. So that's going to take time. We all know we're in the industry. You just don't, take one container from one position and put it into another country. It's not that easy. So it's going
Right.
to take time. So I think till at the very least till mid, and I'm going to go for it. It's mid 2023. We're going to see this phenomenon where there's going to be demand for air freight. Will there be as much as there is today? I don't think so, but there will be strong demand for it. There
Mm.
always will be, and the increase is going to be there. Will the rates continue to remain that high? In my view, I think realistically, do not be surprised if governments get involved
Mm.
because the supply chain has a major impact on the economic value of all these countries.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if government comes in, whether it's the US, whether it's, the EU, something has to happen because otherwise inflation is going to just go through the sky roof if it maintains the way it is today.
Absolutely true. So Peter has already given us the 5-minute warning. So we have one more article left. And if we're talking about air freight, we have to talk about drones, people. So everybody knows that I love the hustle, and they came out with this article just about a week or so ago. And they're saying that Amazon's drone project is experiencing turbulence. Are we really surprised? I don't know, because when we first started talking about drones, we were kind of like, well, will it work? Won't it work? How's it going to work? But they're talking in this article that Amazon has overpromised and underdelivered. In 2015, they talked about giving tours of their secret drone lab. And now there's 100+ people in Amazon that's lost their jobs in the drone unit because what they're saying, it was organized chaos. Which is not good for when you're trying to launch something like a drone project. So, Vito, thoughts on drones? What do you
You know
think?
what? I have to look. I believe in drones. I truly believe in it, and it's part of the future. I have to compliment Amit Serene, who introduced me to drones, and he works at Air Canada, and we work with Drones Delivery Canada, a Canadian company. And I think what's happening now with Amazon, with DHL as well, they parked everything. I believe in a concept that one of my colleagues once told me: crawl, walk, run. And I think what happened is they started running before they even crawled. The drones, the unmanned vehicles require government regulations,
Yeah.
government. And you need that. You absolutely need that. So it's taking longer than everyone anticipated. Hey, we're talking about unmanned aircraft, passenger aircraft. We're talking about unmanned car vehicles. So guess what? The drones is there, but it's going to take longer than I think we anticipated. But it's got its extreme value. And I think companies like Drone Delivery Canada here in Canada they're working closely with government. And as a matter of fact, I think this morning they announced something about a military agreement. And it is very useful in Canada for, remote communities in Africa, in India. So I think there's great and in the US, let's not forget, US is going to be one of the leaders, and they don't want to be outdone by China.
That's true. That is very true. So at some point, we're not only going to see flying cars that we talked about a month ago on Thoughts and Coffee, we're also going to be seeing drones once they're able to get it right. I think there's a lot of people working on this, so it shouldn't be too long, but I think we're going to be seeing some of our packages not only delivered by those autonomous vehicles too. There's those autonomous vehicles that like go down the sidewalk. And then next up is drones that we're going to be seeing in the sky. So on my personal LinkedIn, I did want to give a shout out to Erin. She says that it's been too long. So thanks so much for coming back and seeing us. And I hope that you guys have an amazing week ahead. Listen, next week, Audrey is back with me. I'll be hosting. She'll be my guest. But as always, we will have a lot to talk about in supply chain. Thanks so much to everybody who joined us today. This was great. A lot of amazing comments. And remember, we're giving away one of our amazing mugs every single month for those who are engaging with us the most. Last month, Rhonda received our mug, and the month before that, it was Peter, and they were loving it. So you'll definitely want to get yours as well. So thanks so much again for everybody for joining us. Vito, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it.